that they gave according to their demonstration. So we all have a role to play, both of us, both the people who are going for demonstration and the police must equally stand above because they are trained. But again, when you have thousands and thousands of people marching to you, who has a gun that has probably I don't know how many risasi ngapi bunduki inakuwa nayo, Makiadi atanisaidia, and they are walking to you, and you have adrenaline running in your body as a human being. We have also to understand the position of the police. But that being said, there is something that you have explained to Darius, and I hope that he understands that it's just that I don't like Raila Amolo Odinga. I appreciate Amolo Odinga, and I appreciate the effort that he has made. But equally, I do see that he has equally taken advantage of the country to his benefit, his individual benefit. In your submission, Daktari, you said that we do not, you and me, don't know why he pursues the maandamano after the loss of the shed of blood and Awacha. Okay, we don't know. But the thing is, this problem of Darius, this is what and Daktari, you put it very well. The thing here is William Ruto doesn't need Raila Amolo Odinga. Raila Amolo Odinga has no magic to save William Ruto from the GNCs who have decided that they need change. But the thing is, both William Ruto and on the other hand, from another perspective, both Raila needs William Ruto the same way William Ruto needs him, because both of them are political elite class, a group that is now targeted by the people. Okay, so they stand in each other for each other. Darius, I always say wengine wetu tulitafuta kura huko nyumbani, and it's interesting that you say that I should dress myself with the reality on the ground. Some of us I live there every other night, but what I wanted to say is that at the end of the day, wakati tumetukanana, tunakutana jioni, tunakunywa, bwana pale ulinichapa, nani analipa? Mheshimiwa analipa. We all eat from the same plate as politicians. So don't be fooled that Raila Amolo Odinga and William Ruto are enemies. They are not enemies. During the day, in public, they are enemies, but they have a common interest to protect one another, right? To protect one another. And that is something that you cannot deviate. Just when in 2007, when there was post-election violence after the election, people regrouped themselves according to their tribes. Why? Because they had interest. The Luos regrouped themselves with the Luos. Kikuyus regrouped themselves, the Kalenjin. And the same thing right now, the political elite class are regrouping themselves so that they can protect what they have amassed. But what I wanted to ask Darius and my other friends here, what happened to the lifestyle audit? Because the lifestyle audit will help us fight the corruption, because then it is going to help the members of parliament. The misappropriation of funds that we are talking about is well captured on how everything should be handled through the lifestyle audit. That's the follow-up I wanted to make, that I do not personally hate Raila Amolo Odinga, but it's only fair as well not to shy away from where Raila Amolo Odinga has let us down. Not only Raila Amolo Odinga, but William Samoei Ruto has let us down, and many other leaders. It is not only William Ruto who is corrupt. It's not only William Ruto who is a thief in Kenya. There are many thieves in Kenya, but then just because he's the father of the nation, he carries the mantle or carries the responsibility to answer these questions. And that's why all of us are angry. And that's why we're asking these very pertinent questions. Thank you.
I think Mzalendo is here. Mzalendo, you can take over. Sijui kama ni Jeff Kenya Re. I want to sit here as a panelist also and contribute to the discussion.
Who is moderating? Who is next?
All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you, Mzalendo.
Oh, good evening, good morning. If you are in, I don't know whether it's morning in Kenya right now, but yeah, I think it's morning. Guys, it's a pleasure to see you guys again talking about our country, the things that we love most. I'll stand in for Leo. I think he's taking a small break, but I don't know who was next in the sequence.
I can say something briefly, Mzalendo, if possible.
All right, okay, go ahead, Jeff.
After that, it's Makiadi actually should be.
Oh, okay. After that, Matiadi, you can follow in that sequence. All right. Mburu, the mic is yours. Mburu. We have lost Mburu. Have we lost you? Mburu seems to be at work. Makiadi.
I'll go after Kenya Re. Let
Kenya
Re go first.
Kenya Re. Kenya Revolutionary.
Wako tayari. I'm ready and my microphone is working.
I'm ready also. It's just that I
Before
thought maybe they
cut me off. I think Kenya Re and Black and Mburu, Makiadi. That is their order. But if any of them can hear me and it gets back, please let me know. I just want to respond to the two things that have been said here. I think me and Daktari, we were saying the same thing, including Mise. I think we are saying the same thing.
Darius, is it okay that you allow Makiadi to speak first? He's been waiting.
Yeah, just allow Makiadi.
No, he had gone off, but I said when he's ready, I'll just let him. Is Makiadi back?
I'm still here. Here. Can you hear me?
We can hear Makiadi.
Makiadi merudi.
Niko hapa Dario, wewe utaki tuongee lakini sawa tu. Let me just speak briefly alafu nitakuachia. Tafadhali, if you can hear me.
Go ahead, Makiadi.
Yeah, I think Dario ni kama microphone yake or something. There's a disconnect between his whatever system na feed. But let me say this. Mise, I like the way you presented, but I want to put it to you this way, that
I can't hear. Microphone yangu ndio iko na shida.
Yeah, labda Dario atoke alafu arudi.
Daddy just log out and then log in back.
Yeah.
We can hear you, but you can't hear us. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, so let me say this. You know, Misa, you have said that these things that are happening right now did not start with William Ruto. I agree with you. Perfectly clear. If you go back to the world of research, there's something called a predictor, there's something called an outcome. In between the two, there's something called a moderator. And the moderator determines the magnitude of the outcome. Unfortunately for William Ruto, it is this government, his government, which magnified the outcome. So the problems that have been facing Kenyans for all those decades were magnified in William Ruto's government and his style of governance. From the way the CSS were behaving, to the way money was being squandered, to the way the government was borrowing and doing nothing. So in some way, he was able to catalyze the revolution that you're seeing right now in our country. And the actual picture is, there is nothing that William Ruto, and I'll repeat again here, there's nothing that William Ruto can do differently, even moving forward, that will salvage his leadership in the Republic of Kenya. Number one. Number two, we go back to the issue that I was discussing here before about a constitutional democracy. And I think Ndemba, wherever is listening here, I want you to tell me here, why should we support? I know maybe you said you don't support, but I just want to emphasize this. Why should we support an arrangement of marriage between ODM and UDA, while it is the same ODM that was saying they have been ripped off the majority leadership and the majority slots in this parliament unconstitutionally? So when we come here and talk about constitutionality, doing things the constitutional way, we should be able to remember that we are the same people who came to this same forum complaining that the government of the day is using unconstitutional means to allocate themselves positions in the parliament. We said it is using unconstitutional means to influence cases in the judiciary. We said they are using unconstitutional means to run the Republic of Kenya. So when does that change? Does it change because Raila Odinga has said, let's change direction and go talk to William Ruto? I think that is a point that we as Kenyans need to sit down and agree that if the government of the day does not follow the constitution, regardless of whether you are a supporter of Raila Odinga, regardless of whether you are a supporter of William Ruto, we should be able to call out the government and tell them that you need to operate within the Constitution of Kenya. That one is something that I'll never shy away from. Even if I support Raila Odinga, that is something that we need to advocate, because today it is William Ruto who is in power. He might use his own means or his own machinations to do things that will favor his government. Remember, tomorrow it will be you, Mise, or I, and you'd expect me also to use the same means. And people should not be complaining. I think we should be clear. We should draw the line. We should draw the lines as Kenyan and say, enough is enough. If it is the constitution for one, it is constitution for all. This IEBC composition, like Kenyari said here, this issue about a crisis because we do not have the IEBC, we should be asking ourselves, was it by design or default? Because from where I see it, I believe this government had an opportunity, especially William Ruto. He had a humble opportunity to recreate and reappoint or maybe appoint new commissioners. He did not take that opportunity to do that. Why did he do that? We don't know. Him alone can explain to us why he has let the IEBC stay blank, stay open without commissioners for that long. In any case, when we keep on saying here that if William Ruto was to exit office, that we will not have a country. In any case, what if something happened, God forbid, and we had a vacancy in the office of the president, or maybe deputy president, or maybe both? Do we cease to exist as a republic because we do not have an IEBC? So William Ruto should not take this as an excuse, and his supporters also should not take this as an excuse and tell us that if the government decides to go, we do not have an IEBC. I mean, guys, let's be serious. They had an opportunity to appoint an IEBC that is non-partisan. They did not take that opportunity. So this thing about rushing and appointing commissioners because we are in quote unquote in a crisis as a country, I don't think that's a fair judgment from this government. Now, as I finish, so that I can give my fellow panelists an opportunity to speak also. You know, I've had people saying that William Ruto will be in office until 2032. And I ask myself, and I know Penny Nyagaka is here, is one of those people who claims that William Ruto will be in government, will be the president until 2032. My question to you, people who speak in that, you know, that manner or that language, why do we need an election in our country? Why should we be voting every 5 years? I mean, if we already know that somebody is going to be a president, I know, Misa, you are following what is happening, and Zalendo, you are following what is happening in the US right now. And the current president, hold on, Pen Yagaka, just a minute. You'll be given your time to speak. Just mute your mic. Mute your mic, please. Thank you, sir. You can see how the president is struggling. When he looks at the polls, they do not favor him. He's like a person who is trying to swim in murky waters. He cannot, get himself up. The numbers are not favoring him. He's trying as much as possible to redeem himself, doing every kind of thing so that he can push his numbers. But it is not working for him. And he knows very well that after every 4 years, you have to go back and campaign so that people will vote for you to go back to that office. What is so different about our Republic of Kenya? So that when somebody gets in for the first term, we have the likes of Pen Nyagaka will be telling us, miaka kumi, alafu miaka kumi ingine ya Rigathi. We should be asking ourselves, are we in a democracy or is Kenya a kingdom? That is something that I think should concern every Kenyan. And that is why you find leaders who are not accountable to the people, because they know very well that people like Penny Nyagaka will let them go for 10 years without an election in between. We should be able to question how these people are able to get into office for the first term, and then in the middle of their tenure, like what is happening to William Ruto, he loses half of his supporters. He loses half of his base, even more than that, and still manages to win the election. That is a question I pose to you, my brothers. As a republic, we should be asking ourselves, why do we need an election after every 5 years? If William Ruto is capable, or any other president is capable to go for 10 years unquestioned at the ballot, then we should better declare our country as a kingdom and not as a democratic country. Thank you.
Well, who's going next?
Hello, Mr. Lendo, I've been attacked very much.
I know, Mr. Penn, that you've been really attacked, but I beg to allow somebody who has been waiting, a chance to respond. Darius, then you can go ahead. Darius, are you there? If Darius is not there, then Penn, you can you can respond. Penny.
Okay, thank you very much, Muzarendo. Very happy to see you guys in the panel. Kinamisi, we come here to listen to you most of the time. I've been listening for the last 2 hours. That is very, very entertaining. It's very nice. Lakini, Mato, very nice to see you and very nice to come on this platform, because ile ingine hata hawanitaki kuniona huko, so I don't even go there. So Mato, wacha nikuambia kwamba when we say 2032, it's not like we want to change Kenya to be a dictatorship. No. In a democracy, in England, they just elected a Labour guy. How long has it been since a Labour gentleman get to power? Very many years. Since Nani changed in 1979, Margaret Thatcher, until then, it has been a parliamentary democracy, but the Labour has not come that close. Here in America, Mato, from 1952 to 1994, the Republican did not win the House or the Senate. They won the presidency, yes, but they could predict 5 years, 10 years down the road that they will win. When we keep saying, Mato, you directly pointed that to me, that I the one say that RUTO to 2032. It's not like we want Kenya to be a dictatorship. No, we just seen it that now your hero has really joined the RUTO. When we were talking about like that, he had never even joined him. He was going to the AU. He was going everywhere. So it is the numbers, my friend. Mato, it's the numbers that make us say RUTO to 2032. It's not a regressive way to think that we want Kenya to be a dictatorship, therefore then we don't have to say that. Kwa sababu saa hii mzalendo, wacha nikwambie, and you guys can tell me otherwise. So as we look at it today, there is nobody who is coming closer to RUTO to beat him. I mean, if 2026 somebody come up and there is like Ibrahim Torre and all this, we will agree with that. But as of right now, as we speak today, there is nobody who is coming close to Mr. RUTO. We have watched the politics of the world over and over. When we say RUTO 2032 it's not that we want dictatorship. Dictatorship ni kitu mbaya sana. But even in a democracy, there is a way you can change a democracy to be what it is. Now in Israel today, Netanyahu has been there forever, and there's nobody who is beating him. Do we want Israel to be a dictatorship? No. It's a parliamentary democracy, but they have figured the numbers. They have figured how to get the numbers to get Netanyahu can win all the time. When you guys never had, I mean, sorry to mention, but the ODM supporters of Raila Odinga, when they speak, even kwa ile kama ile show ingine yenu Mato, that's a joke because all of you agree 100%. Nobody disagrees or brings any reason. Huyu nani area alikuja hapo siku ingine kuzungumza kitu, they will all attack him. If you don't talk everything that praises RUTO, I mean Raila, then you are attacked like you are ignorant, you are whatever. Unaitwa everything in the book. And that, my friend, is not a democracy. That's a dictatorship in the making, and Kenya is a democracy. We decide who we want, and we want who we want. Do we always do right? You can take the, to anywhere. Lakini yangu ni kukuambia Mato, you are more than welcome. Hapa utanipata, hapa utapata wengine. Lakini wengine, ulikuwa unasema, and I keep repeating this to you. When we keep saying 2032 is not like we want Kenya to be a dictatorship, is that we have seen that there is nobody who is closer to RUTO. Now that Raila has joined him, and all the followers of Raila follow him wherever he wants, do whatever he wants to do. And what did Malaysia Mzarendo? The last Mandamano about Tuesday, you never saw it happen in anywhere in Luo Nyanza. Never. Because Raila had said, we are joining this government, or we were talking to this government, or whatever he told them. And they trusted him, and they followed it. So when RUTO brings him in, he knows what numbers he has brought in. You too. Thank you very much, Musarendo. Hiyo kijana yangu Mato wananiataki, lakini ni mzuri. Wakikuja mahali kama hapa, that's very good. Ile ingine Mato ndio sikuji na hata wanitaki huko.
Thank you very much, Mr. Penny. We like your comments here. You are an elder here. You've got a lot of experiences in our country. You've seen Kenyatta's government all the way up to Raila, up to Ruto's government. Guys in the comment section, asanteni sana for being there. Awesome. And everybody else, we acknowledge you. Put the right question to the panelists. I will put it up there, and they will be able to answer. I've got very, very able panelists here. Darius is here, Black is here, Richie Makiadi is here, Dr. William also joining us for the first time. Omboy, karibu sana to Afrique 24. Hillary, if you can have your camera on, that would be very, very, very wonderful. You've been in the Gen Z's conversation for the longest time, Hillary. As a moderator, please have your camera on and tell us what is happening on the other side of X. With that said, let me give a chance to Darius. Darius.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Bwana Mzalendo. Yeah, mine is very quick. I think most of the panelists have actually articulated what I was saying. I think I would just like to point a few things about what was said about especially matters concerning the police. The problem that the people have is not that we are not saying the police are not human. We are not saying that the police also are having a hard job. The police in any country of the world are armed with something that can take somebody's life away. So when they are either ill-trained or do a job that would be regarded as mediocre, it becomes a danger to the other person. A normal maandamano as envisaged in our constitution, we saw a bigger maandamano in South Africa. And the maandamano, all the police needs to tell the people is, don't use Kenyatta Avenue. We shall put a police battalion to ensure there's security for you guys, but follow Muindi Street and follow this street, but don't follow this street. And they have a right to barricade if they feel it is a street that needs to do something of service. But the police in Kenya, the way they have handled this year's, I just want to speak on this one that has just happened the past 4 weeks. Every week coming in, it seems that they are more clueless as the day goes. You know, in life, when you make a mistake, you need to go back being better. But they are coming back being worse and worse. The worst now is the last one that happened on Tuesday, where they shot a journalist. I really wish Mr. to highlight stuff like this. When I saw the journalist crying in hospital bed today, surely how do you feel when you see this? It is really wrong. From trying to say they were criminals or they were doing this, now you have gone to journalists. A lady shot by police who was not even amongst the people that were demonstrating. So I don't know if they are trigger happy or there's something wrong with their fingers. But there is a problem. I even said last time, we might need retraining when it comes to this police. So on that, I think we don't need to say that we are not, but the police are our brothers. But when I heard the former police spokesman who is sleeping with the government right now, the Charles Owino, what he said, that they take a battalion of about 30 people and only 2 people have a gun. But up to today, they have not told us who shot Rex. Wasn't he amongst the 2 who only have a gun to bring him up, and so we can just know that at least people are being brought to book? No, it is really wrong. We need to call that out because, you know, these lives that people are losing can never be gotten. We don't know if you get back your life when you lose it. So when I hear somebody here talking about buildings, you know, in a country like America where most of the panelists here are, they have things like hurricanes and tornadoes. Buildings get destroyed and they build tomorrow. But the lives that they lose in those tornadoes don't come back. We can't compare those two. So I just think that we really need to be sensitive about how the police are handling this constitutional right in moving forward if this thing is going to continue. Secondly, I don't want to dwell on RAILA the man. You know, we are losing the point when we speak on RAILA the man. My point was very clear, and so that there is no iota of doubt. When somebody tells you that RUTO right now does not need RAILA, and this is somebody I really respect because he has been in the ground trying to stand for votes. Really, we are really losing the point. Because there's no way, I've repeated, there's no way RUTO would need RAILA to come back and join his government, and he doesn't need him. RAILA right now is a retired guy. Nobody knows if he will stand again. He's that age that Makiadi just said now of Biden, where he was struggling even with your own age. I mean, it's a God-given thing. But even these kids, the Gen Zs, the first day they were demonstrating, They went to TikTok calling Raila because they know they are having this right because this guy showed them. And I gave an example when they went to the quarry. Not many leaders can go there. This guy has a cultish following. There's people who follow him like me who can think. Like even now, I'm very disappointed if he's joining the government. But I know there are people who can even slap me if I say he's bad. So there is that. So we just need to. You cannot remove the carrots from the peas when it comes to Raila. And there has to be a way to cool down this Gen Zs right now. And to Ruto's wisdom, he thinks this is the best way. We wish him all the best. But that is just what I was saying. I was not talking about Raila the man. I was just saying on damage control right now, because Ruto is really damaged. He's in a corner right now. He needs help. From whoever he needs, I'm seeing like he needs help from this guy. That's why the proceedings of Kenyan politics is taking this direction right now. We would not be here right now. The things they mentioned, like the post-election violence, the handshake with Uhuru, let's also be realistic. We are grown-ups here. What would happen if Raila did not shake hands with the Kibaki? Maandamano iendelee, watu endelee kuuana. They already lost to 1,500. Was it a good decision? Maybe not. Was it a bad decision? Maybe not. But maybe it was the better decision for people who say we don't want anarchy in Kenya. Same to the handshake. People were ready to go to State House. They even went and swore him in. These are treasonous things. Sometimes, you know, as human beings, when we have a following, we need to take 2 steps back and think, what is the gooder thing for the country? Even this situation of the Gen Zs, the past 4 weeks, when we joined this dialogue here, this is also a dialogue, this platform to discuss, we are asking ourselves every day, what is the end game? What is the end game? Are we waiting for heaven to come and bring us the end game? There has to be an end game. Who can convince us Gen Zs are not going to the streets next week? Is Ruto having any other options? I am thinking he has run out of options. Ameingia mpaka Zoom. That is the lowest the president has done. I mean, these are things we are seeing. It's not like Darius is saying. Lifestyle audit. Somebody mentioned lifestyle audit. Who is most scared in Kenya right now to do a lifestyle audit more than William Ruto? He amassed money from YK92, from selling chicken. You know, we really like to clap for nonsense. When you're ready, you stall. How are you going to ask Mzalendo to declare his wealth? And you cannot declare yours. So that one was put in kaburi ya kusahau. Hata usiwahi fikiria there will be a lifestyle audit. When the cabinet ministers who have been fired today were being interviewed, did you hear anybody below 2 billion shillings as a wealth? And that is not the correct value. They were reducing it by over 100%. Those are the trillionaires. Moving very fast. Our Mzee Pen Nyagaka, who we really respect in this podium, I've met him like thrice. He's saying the truth. But I'm sorry, that is why they call it retrogressive thinking. When you say that you are not insinuating you don't want a monarchy, but somebody will go up to 2032. The problem with that talk, it has been a talk from long time. The problem with that talk is only one, Mzee wangu Nyagaka. That talk has made the previous presidents not to be accountable. Because the Kenyan vote to get to State House is won by the illiterate vote. Moi started, Jomo Kenyatta started it, Moi magnified it, anaenda huko kwa village, he goes to the village, anapatia wamama leso imeandikwa juu KANU inajenga inchi, they are very happy, they have not, the illiterate vote has been leading the country so much. I was listening to a debate yesterday on NTV, and this gentleman is an economist in Kenya. What he said was very, very touching. This guy said, these kids, if they decide to follow up, to wait for that 3 years, they have almost 9 million votes. If they take that voters card, as they say they will, this is a hypothesis. Knowing that Ruto was declared winner of an election where 8 million Kenyans did not vote. So the demographics of even 2032 are so different once the voter registration confirms that these kids have made good their threat, and they have confirmed to us they can do stuff because they promised us the finance bill will fall. It has fallen. They promised us they will make sure cabinet secretaries go home. They have gone. So now they also promised this. We are yet to see. But there is that avenue that they might do this. So we really need to watch this space. Right now, Bwana Nyagaka, RUTO is not thinking of 2032. He is struggling to see if he can finish these 3 years. Because these kids are talking like they would have cut it off. The only thing that is saving RUTO that is a president now is because he had sat on that IEBC. There is nobody for elections in Kenya. So when these kids are told there is nobody to go to elections, is when they think, what is the other strategy we can do? That has really helped RUTO, and he knows it. So to me, accountability that is needed right now, these kids feel like the person sitting on the seat is not the person that can do it. Whether they are right or wrong, it is not me to say. It is us to wait and see how it develops. But like I said when I started, but as I finish, I will not be the person to come here and speak of what RAILA intends to do or doesn't intend to do. So far, as we discuss here, the media speculation that this thing might happen. But Waswahili walisema, mahali iko moshi, haikosi moto. So that might be the truth or it might not be the truth. So for today, I have just commented based on hearsay. If RAILA joins the government or gives some of his people to join the government, it will be a move that he himself as Raila Odinga, a person who has sacrificed a lot to be the person that he is today, popular with very many people and unpopular with very many people. It will be a very unpopular decision to many people who support him and who do not support him. Me as Darius, I would not support that decision. I would be disappointed with him. It might be for the gooder piece of the country, but I was not for it. His wisdom that tells him to do it, I am yet to see. But I will not put my signature to want to see him join this group of people who are beating their chest the past 5 years instead of going to the office to work, saying they can run a country, and they bring a country to its knees within less than 2 years. It is not only disappointing, it is shameful. It is very shameful. You cannot sit here and say Uhuru was not unpopular. He was unpopular, but he was not unpopular to the level of bringing the country to such a situation. This is a first. And it's sad to say that the person who looked so capable of delivering the country to the greater proportions has brought it to his knees, its knees right now. Things that have happened have never happened ever before in the country. Even 1982, when we were born, when there was a coup, these were people with military, with guns and stuff. But this one where a president is calling people with phones terrorists and looks very scared, and the way he has been clapped for by people saying that RUTO ni mkali hawezi fanya, and now kids are making him go to his knees, maka anaenda kuita mzee amsaidie. So bad, so wrong. I don't know if this is the guy to deliver us to greater proportions in Kenya. But thank you very much.
Mzelendo.
Yes.
Just to respond on what Darius has said, there is a good heading you had put there saying that unity and dialogue, and then in front you said political regrouping. That's the point my brother Darius is missing. I don't know how many times we can emphasize on this. And if there is political regrouping, it means it is not Raila, it's not William Ruto who so badly wants Raila Amolo Odinga. Maybe Raila Amolo Odinga also wants William Ruto for them to work as a team to redeem themselves. You know, there are a few things that you have mentioned, my brother Darius, about the police. And I don't know why you're reading the Constitution selectively. the Constitution is read alongside the public order. In this case, the public order number 56, that gives the procedure of demonstration, that you cannot have the last demonstration that we saw, people are coming from everywhere. We have seen, I've not heard you talking about the police being stoned by the public. Is that how we should treat the authority that is supposed to maintain law and order and expect them to protect us? You're not answering that part. We must have a balanced, if we're having an honest conversation, we must have a balanced debate whereby we are saying and pointing out and saying things the way they are. I like Makiadi today, the way he said that he's not ashamed to distance himself from certain things that he feels that they are not right. The truth is, both Raila Amolo Odinga and William Ruto, they have, in one way or the other, have contributed to the growth of our country significantly or insignificantly. That is indisputable. What is disputable is that at this point is that both of them are in the same soup. Both of them are in a position that they need one another for them. They need coexistence for them to be relevant. And that is what we will we are talking about here. It is true, we are not disputing that the police have killed, have used excessive power or force against the people who were actually exercising their right as they should. But it's also evident that the people who are perceived to have come for demonstration have seen destroying property. So you discrediting, using God's act, which you call tornadoes. In this case, by law, they are called God's act. They are defined as God's act, as tornadoes that brings down buildings and so forth, destroys property. Comparing it with people who willingly plans leaving their homes, going to other people's property to destroy. It also means that those people are infringing the rights of protection by the police, by the same police, to those other people who own those properties. So you cannot discredit it and say that buildings can be rebuilt, property can be regained, but loss of life cannot be regained, cannot be recovered. How do you know that someone who has taken so many loans will survive if they see their buildings brought down or their property destroyed? How about what if they died out of depression? That is also one way of killing that we are not, that is silent, that we are not talking about. But overall, my brother, what we should, as sane people, as people who are saying things from a different perspective, people who have no interest in this government to either fail in one way or the other, we should be also condemning those people who come with the intent to destroy property, necessitating the police to react in a way that sometimes might subject or cause loss of life. That is the argument, and that's the balance that we should strike. Nobody is happy with what the direction the country is taking. It is some of us, Black included, and Mzalendo, we supported William Ruto, but we are disappointed by the people around him and how the government has been led. We wanted to see change. We were very hopeful that one day there will be change in the country, but that has not happened. But what do we see? Why has William Ruto not called you Darius? Why is he calling Raila Amolo Odinga? You know, why is he calling the people from the opposition? When you talk about the people, when you will see the people from the opposition getting chances or positions in the current government, that is because they belong to the same class that you and me can never or may not in the near future be. We belong to the class that is oppressed by the existence of the political elite class, political regrouping. They are regrouping because why is all of a sudden Edwin Sifuna is quiet? Yeah, Mzalendo, actually we were talking that you will be surprised that maybe the Minister for Defense will be Junaid Mohammed, and he will be singing the praises of William Ruto, the person who he detested in the past. That is the political conmanship, hypocrisy that we want to root out from our politicians, that they only support it when it fits. And that is the unfortunate situation that we have in our country. So you and me, Darius, when you mentioned about Raila having a cult kind of people who believe in him, who actually believe in everything that he said, are you saying that tomorrow myself and Mzalendo should also work very hard and have a fanatical following, that no matter what or wrong we commit, they will just praise us for whatever that we are doing? These are some of the wrongs that we are pointing out. As much as they are a reality and they are difficult to change, we should not shy away from speaking about them. Thank you.
Hey, Mzalendo, can I speak?
Who's that? That is Themba.
William.
Oh, William. Oh, Willie.
Yeah.
You can go ahead, Dr. Say something.
Thank you, Mzalendo, and thanks to this platform here. I mean, the contributions are all good, but I want to talk on two items here. One has been mentioned by Darion. I think Darion mentioned a very, very important point somewhere there, that we cannot let go by that. And Mice, I think what what Darion here said about the police, and I said it before, the police are there as our law enforcement. Law, the keyword is law enforcement. They're supposed to ensure that the law that is within our constitution is upheld. We are free to go to the streets. Anybody is free to go to the street. Now, as you bring it in, Mice, that we cannot destroy items, and the police has a right to shoot because they're defending themselves when they see people charging. Now, police is a force, and whenever they're being discharged for such kind of duties, they are given rules of engagement. They are told exactly when to discharge that weapon. Now, these kids, I've seen them and I've watched some of them. They go walk in the streets, they yell, they do anything. And what they always say is that we have a bottle of water, we have our ID, and we have placards. Those are our weapons. Please do not kill us. We are just kids who wants to fight for our rights. And they're free to have their rights as stipulated in Article 37. Now, if police, like Darren said, and the government should pull up their pants and say, hey, for some reasons, we are barricading this section here for what is going on. Whoever comes on this side here, you will be trespassing. Then somebody comes there, they will be trespassed, and you should not hit that person. You should pick up that person, lock him in, take him, and arraign him in a court of law. But as it is right now, the police captured, well, they were plainclothes police officers and others were in uniform. So we don't know even if those plainclothes officers, because they don't have any tab on them, they were police or people masquerading as police and have weapons. Remember, there are also goons amongst these Gen Zs that could be sponsored by even the government themselves to just go in and do things that are not within what these guys are planning to do or how they're planning to maneuver, just to create a commotion and also to discredit the confidence that people have had on them. You know, they go kick doors, start looting. I don't think that is what these kids were doing. None of them, even the people that they're leaderless, but we can see them. I've not seen any of them running with a TV or etc., etc. But some of them have been abducted, and some of them have been found killed. None of these things here have been tabled by the government. So what does that tell us? They are a target. They are target of this kind of foolishness. They are target of torture. They are target of all these beatings for no reason, to stop them from voicing themselves. That is not the freedom we wanted. William RUTO is age is I think he is in his 50s, so he is leaning towards the sides of even millennials. He should have made a change. He should have walked out of this office here with a name that was going to be much, much better than what people in the past have done. But he has chosen the other side. In his 2 years of power, we have seen situations where Ruto does not go with the constitutions. He forces in himself. And as Makiadi said very clearly, that it is a democracy. Democracy here does not mean I have the power and I'm going to dictate you. Democracy here, just as he said it clearly, I think Makari said clearly, that the majority have their powers. And if they elect you, please listen to the majority. You see this? Now, all this said and done, I feel very well that we are all in the right situation to help this country here heal. But if we are going to support a wrong just because I am in that party, then I don't think we are doing that country a justice. Gen Z's decided for once to be tribeless, for once just to do things in unity. You know, why do they say we are tribeless? Why do they say we are leaderless? Because they have watched us. They saw that in the past, that if we have a leader, that leader will probably be compromised. You know, he will be given money. Everybody is subject to. I mean, corruption is just with people, but to resist is the problem. So they say we are leaderless. So it's making the government not identify who they can manipulate. Then they say they are tribeless because they've seen our design in the last. Ruto manipulates the Rift Valley people. He goes back in and speak their language so that he can have them behind him. Raila also has the right to come and amass the Luos. President Uhuru also had the right to amass the Kikuyus. So at the end of the day, they throw in that tribalism thing so that they can divide you guys, and then they get what they want. They say, hey, we Kalenjins are ready to merge with you Luos, and then we can beat the Kikuyus. Or we, the Luos, we can merge with the Kikuyus and beat the Kalenjins. You know, it is a game that they have been playing for a long time. And this Gen Z said, no, we are going to go tribeless here because we don't want to identify with the tribe. Not that they don't come from any tribe. They all have their tribes. And I'm sure all of them, in a way, could support their tribes. But they have seen how the old generations messed them with these tribe things. So these boys and girls just wants what is better for them. I don't think their intent is to take the government. I don't think their intent was to capture the government, because, like Darion said, Ruto lost the confidence. In reality, he has lost it. If it was in a civil way, if he wanted to be really, really respected, if I were him, I would resign. I would just say, look, I resign, because never in the history, as Darren said, never in Africa, out of all those more than 40 states, has a president ever come down to that level where he says, you know what, my cabinet that I've defended for all this time, people have told me these people are incompetent, but I always say, no, they're competent. They're doing this, and I support them. Then all of a sudden, within a week, people force you and you say, you know what, I don't want these people. I let them go. And then you come back and say, you see, I've let them go. Can we talk? No. Your father cannot do that in the house. He will look for a different design. Now, two, these boys here said, hey, we don't want this police officer, I think he's not doing the right thing. He has killed us. He has done this, which were legitimate to the president. Before the president fired the guy decided to render his resignation because he knew what the president was going to do. Now, by accepting that, the government also accept that they acted ultra-vires. They acted not within the law by killing people. But then, who has been arraigned so far? We have not seen this police chief go to court. We have not seen him being called to tell us where those other kids are missing, where they are buried, all these kind of things. The quarry deaths have been going there since 2022. Now, after it has been found, the police comes in. Even in here, in a situation like that, what would the government do? The government would make that a crime scene. And nobody should ever stop right there. They would seal it and have it guarded, especially with so many bodies found in there, have it guarded 24 hours, you know? But what do we see again? Next day, there's fire. Who is lighting fire on these things? Is it the police, whom we are entrusting to be our law enforcement? Come on, guys. Let's not just support a government because our views lies with their party. At one point, I think we should be partyless. Just like Mr. Penn said very well that, hey, RUTO is there up to 2032. He has a right to say that. That is fine. But what does that tell me, who is an observer? That would tell me, looking at the past, how Kenya has been. During Moi's time, they were calling for free and fair elections, but they put it no longer. Who is going to do a free and fair election when you are being seen? Because they will torture you. There was a Mwa Kenya, something they put on you. They say, oh, we came in and found a publication that is criticizing Moi. During Moi's era, you could not even talk about Moi. We could not even do a Zoom like this about the government. They will come for you and they will kill you. See, so we have come from very far. We call ourselves democracies, but we are not a democracy. We are dictatorship. We say things to please the West and call it democracy because the West want us to see that. But in reality, when we go back to our people, we dictate them on what to do. Where utafanya here na utafanya. That is not how democracies work. And then at the same time, we predict their time in the office, not like thinking that people support them. They force themselves in. Where on earth a president of a country, somebody comes to the podium, takes out something from the court and say, "Ata mimi wacha nisaini kitu sahihi." Really? That thing should have come in a folder with a panel already signed by other people who matters, and then read that, hey, President Ruto has been chosen as the president. I saw Chebukati pull out that thing, talking and say, oh, hata sahi niko na hii kitu, wacha ni sign hii kitu sahi ukuwe na president, and then he hands it over. Really, I think it's a mockery. To me, I feel like the Chebukatis and all these people really plunged us into chaos. You know, they plunged us into chaos. And if we were to do this, IBC was one of the things that Ruto should have done right from day one, because this is not what we want. This is what should be guiding the country. So he should have come in and say, hey, first and foremost, we are bringing in the IBC thing. We are going to make sure that it stands even before appointing cabinets, you know? Then when you look at cabinets, the appointments, we Africans, we are still disadvantaged that we speak different languages. And we want to please our people. I mean, if we have 5 different tribes, and then out of these 5 different tribes, I have an office that is like 5 offices. And then all my tribes are 3 people represented in all these 5. So 2 goes to the rest of Kenya. What would you say that is, even if those people did not vote you? You are trying to do a government of inclusivity, right? You're trying to include everybody. What does that tell you? All parastatals, you just see there is cronies with the same name. See, I think in that case, people may not be the one to make that judgment, but anybody will look at it and say, hey, is this really what is going on? So for you to be a good leader, I think you should influence people to start doing the right thing. And leadership, if the cabinet is a reflection of the president. If everybody was fired there as incompetent, then the president was also incompetent and should follow suit. That is just what I think. Because he has allowed to fire them. Why? And he said that, okay, they are incompetent. So I'm the head. If the fish head is, you want to tell me that all these other tails and everything there can be very bad, but the head is good? The head is the one that controls. He has a meeting with all these cabinets every morning, every evening. He has at least some hurdle he does with them at the end of the day or at the end of the week, and tell them, hey, what is going on in your ministry? What is going on in your ministry? What kind of new thing have you implemented? What kind of, all these kind of things. So if they're all incompetent, they never did anything, then it means he also never did anything. So to me, I think that he should have fired himself also as well. And that's why I'm saying it could have been a very, very good president if he said, you know what, guys, I resign. I think he would have earned more respect than now, because for right now, he has lost the grip. These kids will keep on going and going and going, and you're going to kill them and kill them and kill them, because as it is right now, these people are like about 70% of the population. These kids are the 70% of the population. And if you look at our people die, the life expectancy in Kenya is probably maybe 60. But the Gen Zs are still young. So do you want to kill the people who are still young, who have time to come in and bring in ideas, or do you want to leave the people that are all about to die to keep living? I don't think so. Even in the Zoom that the president was there, the president was kind of like pretending like he cannot even, not pretending, I withdraw that. Maybe he didn't know, but how to even use the system. So
all right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I would leave it at that. But I think, guys, if let's just work in unity and offer what we can offer, support these kids here. I personally think they need to. They're leaders in there. I can see leaders in them. So let's give them a chance.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Daktari. I don't know whether it's my. Oh, it's Penny. Thank you very much, Daktari, for that wonderful submission. And now, Kenya is at a crossroads, and let us look at these things objectively and see what we can do as Kenyans without going back to our tribal self. So, yeah. Can you hear me? I need you to put your mic off for just a second. Then I can bring in Black. Then I know you want to react on something, Mr. Penny. But Black is banning to play some video for you guys to see the kind of country that we are in. Um, Having said that, I just want to weigh in maybe with a few words and say, it is time that we have the right conversation. The conversation has never been between Raila Odinga and the people of Kenya. The conversation has been the Gen Zs and what they want done by the government of William Ruto. The Gen Zs have never said that they want to remove RUTO from power. We are confusing a conversation here. The conversation has been the point that the Gen Zs put up that they want First, they decided they didn't want the finance bill, and a raft of other things like the cabinet being dissolved and things like that. Then the millennials hijacked the conversation. We belong to that group that has hijacked the conversation. The conversation between the Gen Z and the government of Kenya has been one. They need reforms, they need an end to corruption, and they need equity in government. This is a very important juncture in the making. We need not to lose focus and start focusing on personalities. Personally, my opinion is that Raila Odinga once again he gets it wrong because Raila advises himself and Raila makes decisions on his own, and his loyal followers, the idol worship of Raila Odinga, they follow him to wherever he's going. This is a moment for him to say that, I am a statesman. This is what we need to have a conversation on. Remember, he came in and he said his supporters have said no to the handshake, and then he went back again to hiding, and then he came back again and said, now, okay, it is time for us to have this national dialogue. It is not about the national dialogue. The conversation is the Gen Zs want some reforms, and these reforms affect me and you directly. If it is the issue of taxes, we all pay taxes. If it is the issue of nepotism, if it is the issue of tribalism in the parastatals, appointments, we have got children who are looking for jobs. This is not politics. This is about us. This is about the future. So we have a moment where we can all reflect positively and say, I belong to ODM, I belong to UDA, but we have a country. We have a country, and we have children that will say that, we stood up for what is right. This is not a moment where you need to tell me that I am an ODM supporter or an UDA supporter. I need you to talk about our country, Kenya. Do you want to go the anarchy way? Do you want to solve the problems? Or do you want the political class to remain in the political cabal and be part of it? So that is the right conversation that we need to have. And don't forget, even here in the US, the question why Trump elected JD as his running mate is very, very simple. The young people have got numbers. Tomorrow, when you wake up this week, you will see Biden stepping down, and there will be young people on board because elections are informed by data. They are no longer informed by just hearsays and rhetorics. When I came here and I told you Sifuna was full of satires, people thought that I was joking, or people thought that I didn't like ODM. No, it was satire because your boss is talking to the president, and you are busy keeping your base engaged, thinking that you are on the opposite side. So tomorrow, these politicians will all be saying that Ruto is a good man, and the guy who will be put in the corner is Gashagwa and the Kikuyu community. So we again going to the tribal equation. So, guys, let us be sober. Let us look at the country and where we want the country to go. Black, it is your turn, please. Thank you. Black, you are in your bunker again. Please come out of Israel. Black, you are in Gaza. You are in Gaza. You have a lot of echo. Please come out of Gaza and come back to Kenya. You are in a bunker. You are in a bunker. You are not audible. You have a very serious echo. Can you guys hear Black say one or two things? Black, we can't hear you. Log in. Oh. Boss, mimi ndio nasikia Black ako na echo. Darius,
No,
can
we can't. We can't hear him.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Black. Please, you have got a serious echo. Log out and log back. Your video is ready to be played. So when you are ready, just log in. Yeah, thank you, Black. Again, Tuya, karibu sana to Afrique once again. This is where we have the real conversation about our country without any political bias. Even if you have a political bias to any political party, we welcome you. We will listen to your views. We will welcome and accommodate each and everyone's view. The only thing that we in Africa do is we are respectful. We use a very respectful language. We don't want to abuse anyone. But the thought process, the opinion by the panelists and the guys in the comment section is not the opinion for Africa 24. That is their individual opinion, and we do not stand by whatever they believe in or whatever the political ideology that they are trying to put across. Having said that, Black, are you okay? Can you say a word or two?
Hello. Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
good. Yeah, good. Now you can go ahead, Black.
Yeah, I got out of the bank. So anyway, hello again, once again, fellow panelists and viewers at large. My point was more about the unity of ODM and UDA. Okay. Unity is never bad of any kind. It's never bad. Now, what's the purpose of the unity is what matters most when it comes now to politics. When anybody tries to tell me that they are there to salvage the government, I wonder what are they bringing in that the president does not already have. I mean, when it comes to a database, I'm sure if the president could assemble a machinery that won him the presidency, do you think he's incapable of finding someone or people or persons that can hold up the cabinet positions or fill up the cabinet positions which are now currently vacant? I don't think he's unable. He's very much capable. Must be having a huge database of individuals that can well fill those positions. So unless maybe he was pushed onto a corner to do so, maybe by the fact that there was the pressure from the Gen Z and maybe ODM might have pushed him and told him, you know what, hata sisi pengine tutaingia kwa street. If that would be the case, then we would not be having a country right now. So maybe he must have been pushed to get to such an agreement, because I know the president is a very smart guy. I mean, to have won that election, it must have required him to be a genius, and which he is, because he managed to form a team, a formidable team that won him the election, won him the seat. So when ODM panelists or panelists that are more leaning towards ODM come here and say that they are going to save RUTO, I find that being laughable. I think it's more like a comedy. RUTO doesn't need them. RUTO is smart enough. He has all the resources he requires to get us a good list of cabinet secretaries. So I don't think he needed them. It's more on the other way around, in my view. Now, what would be the after effect of it? I think we will be lacking oversight. I mean, because we already know that ODM is the second largest party in parliament. So now, if they are part of government, what would happen to the debates in parliament? Would we be having any sort of oversight or an opposition that would be pointing out any wrongs in the government? I think that's a question that we need to also ask ourselves. But I believe we already have the answer to that. Now, on the issue of IBC, people saying that he had the opportunity the president had the opportunity to select the IBC commission. I think on that one I can defend him. I mean, just soon after election, and I said that already here. Azimio said that no, if he goes ahead and appoints, then watarudi kwa street. So they have to sit down again, waongee maneno ndio NADCO ikatukelezea, you know. So it is not his own doing that we not had an IBC ever since. He was held at ransom, you know. And that is why now the NADCO came in, and now we have the NADCO report. So on that one, I could say no. It's the opposition that with their wrangles made the delays. Now, on the other issue, maybe of the video, maybe you can play, is I don't know why we are also not looking at the issue of accountability from other leaders, like governors. Like there was one that I was looking at, and I was wondering, I mean, I was being asked, maybe if you can play that. Bought a crate of soda for 1 million. You can play that, Madam Zalek.
What you have come with to confirm that 1 million was spent on sodas. You see, this is forgery.
Chair, I'm Bidia, and from this, the invoice was done in 2019, but as you can see from the renewal was done in 2019, but the
address yourself to the payment voucher.
Yeah, the payment voucher was done during the year 2020.
On which date?
From the record that
on which date? On this piece of paper, on which date?
On this, you can make reference to the PO that was usually done before.
On a payment voucher, you must be able to tell the date on which it was raised. Tell me the date on which this payment voucher was raised.
From 2019, we just took the photocopy.
If you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah, it is not.
Is there a date on this payment voucher?
The date is not clear in the payment.
Can you make a payment on a payment voucher without a date? Auditor General,
you can't share.
So where is the date on this payment voucher to support 1 million? Even before we go to the receipt, where figures have intentionally been altered. 1,250 ml mineral water at, and you maybe you take this to.
No, do you agree that the date is not on this voucher?
It's not clear. Maybe the photocopy
is not clear. Where is it if it is not clear?
Young man, stand down. You did not take the oath, and that's why you are misleading us.
I think he has to be put on oath.
Telling us lies.
Because he's lying.
And that's why I'm making reference to page 65.
You are not making reference anywhere because this is the voucher. It doesn't have a date. Can you agree?
Is 65 the same document?
Yes, it's the same document.
So why don't you say that?
I've actually said the same to the chair.
So the date is clear at page 65?
Yeah, it's very clear actually from the IFMIS. So
at page 65. What is page 65?
Is the PO of the same.
Is a purchase order the same as a payment voucher?
Before you make the payment, before you make the payment,
order, young man, and Sergeant at Arms, you might have a client very soon. Is a payment voucher and a purchase order the same?
No, they are not the same.
Which one precedes the other?
PO, the payment order, yes.
Fine. So what did you want us to do here on the PO?
If you can see from the PO page 65 of the same document.
So that is the PO?
Yes.
The PV?
The PV is on 55.
That's where I am, and you are trying to take me away from there. Let's deal with the PV, not the PO.
Okay, that's why from page 55 all the way to...
Young man, can you focus on the payment voucher? Is there another payment voucher for this 1 million, beside what we are looking at on page 55?
What I'm telling you, Bonachair, is that from payment voucher all the way to the last page of that document is the same thing. Because in procurement, it starts from purchasing.
No, we disagree with you.
We shall proceed this way. And Governor, this guy is taking your time because it is delegated. But will not accept some kind of ridiculous responses, which makes us look like we have never seen a payment voucher in our lives. The question we put to you, is this a proper payment voucher to facilitate payment? Yes, look at this payment voucher. Control of budget, look at this payment voucher. And Auditor General, look at this payment voucher.
A lot of documents too.
Auditor General,
1 million shillings.
is this payment voucher proper and complete?
Chair, no, it is not.
ESCC, are you looking at the payment voucher on page 55?
Yes, Chair.
Is it a proper and complete accounting record?
No, Chair, and those are some of the issues we raised in the corruption risk assessment report.
Governor, who prepared this? Who prepared this payment voucher?
The officers who are in charge here.
Yeah, that gentleman, what's your name again?
Mbithi. Mbithi.
So Mbithi, can you swear by this payment voucher that it is a proper accounting record?
I can't swear.
Because so if you cannot swear, then whatever else you're going to say is completely irrelevant and a waste of our time. Auditor General.
Chair, if you look at the stamp, it says Chief Officer in charge of Culture and Social Services. There is a stamp on the PV. And in fact, they have edited out bill payment for I of Tens. They have cancelled and wrote catering services for 8th edition Desert Wheel Race 2019. So where is the Chief Officer?
I think, Black, we've had enough of that, yeah?
Now you can imagine.
Yeah, we've had enough.
The level of unscrupulousness, I may use that word, in our county government. I mean, a whole leader being given responsibility to take care of county resources and utilize them in a manner that would benefit his people, comes up with a voucher that he purchased 1 crate of soda for 1 million shillings. Can someone speak? I mean, a crate of soda for 1 million shillings. What kind of soda is that? 1 crate of soda for 1 million shillings. And then being put to task to account for that voucher or a receipt that made that payment, the date is not visible. And the guy who's explaining all that was asked to swear. You know, you always take an oath before speaking so that whatever you say can be taken into context as being the truth, and only he refused to do so. Now, this does not only is not only applying to just this one county government. This is something that is happening across many other county governments. Now, the question is, what action is usually taken? Is where now the question should be. And maybe perhaps this is one of the few things or the many things that the Gen Z were talking about. I mean, the issue of accountability. So, as much as the RUTO must go chance, I may not be for that, but on the demands which they had put across, I think they had a point, and this is a clear case example of what they were talking about. How many other millions, or how many other millions have been lost in the same manner, you know? And what should we do as a nation to ensure that these people that are charged with, or rather entrusted with Kenyan taxpayers' funds do not escape with such things? Should we now lean towards tribal cocoons so that we can be defending our own just when they do wrongs? Should we lean towards our political affiliations so that we can be saving our own? I think the answer is no. So I think this is a conversation that we need to open up and have a serious discussion on in trying to resolve, and ask ourselves, are the state agencies doing enough to bring this to an end? So I will leave it at that, and niachie my fellow panelists to ponder more on this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bernard Black, and for that insight. One thing I want to inform you is that Afrique 24 will be giving, and will be looking at all the 47 county governors and what they are doing with the billions of shillings that is being taken from the government. So we'll be looking at various counties that have been earmarked for investigation by EACC, what they are doing, and we are also going to look at the successes of devolution. Is it something that we need to review? My opinion is that it is something that we need to check. Is it a waste of our public resources? Again, we need to look at the pros and cons of 47 governors in a small country like Kenya. Let me take this opportunity to greet my sister, Rose, who is here for the first time. Today I'm having my sister and my brother on this panel, Dr. Willie and Rose. Karibuni sana. You'll have your chance to give your submission. What we are talking about today is the unity and dialogue and the political regrouping between one Raila Odinga and William Ruto. Is the talks going to bear any fruit, or are we ignoring this powerful movement called Gen Zs and regrouping politically back to our tribal lines? Let me welcome. I know Mburu, you were here before, but there's one Atuya who was here before you. I need Atuya to give his submission. Then Mburu can come in. Atuya, karibu. Atuya, if you can have your camera on, I would be very, very
Thank
happy.
you.
Yes. Wacha watu wakuone sura bwana. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. First and foremost, let me say hello to each and every panelist. I've had the privilege to listen in today for quite a long time. We've had some really good conversations, and I was pleased to be a listener today. The topic is quite intriguing: unity and dialogue, political regrouping. Usually, I like beginning the conversations by making it clear that I'm a UDA supporter. I do support, critique, and defend the political party by the name UDA. On today's topic about the unity and dialogue, we've had so many conflicting opinions from individuals, both who support one Raila Odinga and those who don't. I will want to look at it from two perspective corners. One from the political point of view, and then from the constitutionality part of it. If you were to look from the political prism of it, I don't think there was an argument who needs who more. At this juncture, I think William Ruto, me being a supporter of President Ruto, at this time politically, William Ruto needed Raila Odinga. And as a supporter, I will tell you that there is some sense of political stability that Raila Odinga will bring into government, not even into government, by being on William Ruto's side. there is some sense of political support that you get from a man who almost controls half of the country. That will always be a plus, whether some individuals don't like it or not. Putting in mind that the voting patterns in this country are quite known. So we have a new generations that threatens to change the patterns, the way they are working. But the trusted and the known way of how people vote, having Raila Odinga and William Ruto on one side, politically makes sense for both of them. Raila Odinga at the moment also needs William Ruto. He has a mission outside this country. He wants to be the chief of AU. He will need the political goodwill of his government. He will need William Ruto. He will need the government to sell him out there. So they need each other at this moment. And when it comes to the constitutionality part of it, it is a mongrel kind of an arrangement, as one William Ruto used to call it. I've never seen a government with the opposition. Now it is happening to him. So it is a marriage of necessity. You might not see, of course, Raila Odinga will not be in government, but you will see his hand in the soon to be appointed cabinet CSs. You will have to see names associated with him. And with that, it will help one. Somebody was asking what, I think it was Black, what is it that Raila Odinga will bring that one William Ruto didn't have? It is not even about the expertise. At the moment, it is not about the expertise. It is about the legitimacy and the political face of it. If you bring Oparanya to the fray, you traditionally trying to bring in the face of the western part of Kenya. If you're bringing in Joho, you traditionally want to embrace the coastal people. If you're gonna appoint Mbadi, as I've heard, you want to appeal to the South Nyanza people. So there is that legitimacy in terms of political view that the group will bring it to William Ruto. And mind you, there's been murmurs behind the scenes that William Ruto has always wanted to reorganize his government. He couldn't do that when they were not speaking from the same mouth with Rigathi Gachagua. If you do a reorganization at that moment, then Rigiji runs to the opposition, then Ruto remains with the very few, remains with a small group of people, and it will have been politically suicidal. But when you have Raila Odinga on your side, now you can go ahead and do a rearrangement and even appoint 2 or 3 cabinet chairs from the mountain, and it will not be detrimental to him politically because now he's got a new ally in Raila Odinga. So for us, those who support government, politically, we see a positive in it. It is a rearrangement. These are people who have worked before. We see Raila Odinga has been a threat for politically for a while. Now we want to use his political expertise, his political experience, his political tranquility to try and tone down whatever is happening in the country and bring forth development. The conversation by the Gen Zs now is at a point where it will face a big test, because when you have a group that is against government and you have an opposition leader out there who low-key supports them, then it becomes dangerous for the government. But when you have now the opposition leader in government and you have a group, they call themselves leaderless, fearless, tribeless, and political, they don't align anywhere. So it's time now for a political movement, for a political cause to bear fruit. It's now time that we will test their resolve. Is it only on Twitter? Is it only on TikTok? Does it have substance now? Will they stand? Will they come out? Will they keep on pushing for the good ideologies that they had? Because Mind you, they had a very big hand of the opposition behind it, like not political support, but the people who supported the opposition were supporting these kids 100%. Now it will be, there might, I've seen people from the Karanda already making videos saying Baba is in government and mtu usijaribu kuguza Baba. So it's time now we see, and I hope, because I genuinely believe they had a good cause, it's time now they continued to push for good governance in the country. As for William Ruto, I think he's just trying to look for that legitimacy. He's trying to look for that political cover, and he might get it. Raila Odinga is not a joke of a politician. Anybody today will want